SKU rationalization. Sometimes seemingly large SKUs require a large amount of resources, special handling, palletization, etc. Some traditional standard costing methods may not fully reflect true cost and resource usage throughout the supply chain. Any thoughts or perspectives?
Yeah, that's a great point. Absolutely. If you've got the ability to do a good job with ABC and to assign costs based on activity to individual products, that's absolutely the way to go. And that would be a big part of the upfront work of doing this quantitative ranking and really understanding where they fit. So if you've got that data and you trust it, I think that would be great. My experience is everybody loves the concept of ABC. Not a lot of people are doing it, and some people are doing it, but not very well. And it becomes, unfortunately, just another set of numbers to be distrusted or questioned. So yes, absolutely, if you've got good numbers and you trust them.
Okay. Another question we got in is, what role should SKU rationalization play in new product innovation introduction? And how far in advance of a new product intro should SKU rationalization efforts be undertaken?
I guess my philosophy is that there really isn't a link there. I mean, other than the fact that if you do this on a regular annual basis, you'll have a lot less problem getting new products slotted, in the marketplace. But to try and link them, sequentially, or say, we're going to be rolling out 12 new products next quarter, so let's do a SkuRat right ahead of time. I don't know. That doesn't feel quite right to me. That said, though, in certain instances, it might make sense to to go to market with we're taking these away on this hand, but we're bringing these in on the other hand. That might make sense to some folks. My perspective is probably not really a strong argument for trying to link those two, though.
Okay. Another question, how do you ensure that you're accurately weighing operator needs against the benefits of SKU rationalization?
Well, again, that's where the voice of the customer comes in, and that's really the responsibility of sales. And again, my perspective is that what's needed is for sales to talk in real terms about real operators and real instances, rather than this broad brush approach of we can't cut it because we're going to lose all our other business, which is kind of the knee-jerk reaction that you typically get. But that's definitely the responsibility of sales, and that's why you need sales on this team.
Okay. And we have another question. In your experience, do you find that most manufacturers review their product line on an annual basis?
No, I don't. Interestingly, we had a great discussion about this with that supply chain share group that I mentioned earlier on just last week. And everybody, basically the way I've laid this out, people were agreeing that that's kind of the problems that they deal with. We had one said that about 3 years ago they did a sweep, as she put it, and really did a pretty drastic cutback on the product line, and since then it's been more sort of an every 6 month I shouldn't say that. Her story was they had done a big sweep, and since then it's been sort of an as-needed basis, that when somebody in operations, gets tired of a certain set of products or whatever, they'll bring it to the attention of sales and marketing, and it's usually just a handful of products that have to be dealt with. So that worked well. There was one other member that said they've absolutely got this knocked down, and they're doing it annually with a process that everybody buys into, and seems to be going very well. But I would say that's the exception rather than the rule.
Okay. Right now we don't have any more questions, but we have a few minutes for people to text those in while, if you have any wrap-up comments, Dave.
Okay. Yeah, I've got just a few more slides here, and then we'll take any others. I've been having this software vision for quite a long time, and I wish I could tell everybody, next month it's rolling out. It's not. I've done some work on it, and in fact, the Answer Systems folks and I are going to get together in the next few weeks and talk about it in detail, because as I described it to them, they started to see a lot of possibilities for linking it not only with manufacturer mainframes, but also with their Contract Pro software, that a lot of the information could come out of that. So looking forward to talking with them and see if we can make this vision into a reality. But the idea would be one program that would give you step-by-step guidance through the process, so almost like an instruction manual. You'd be able to import all of your standard product data, so SKUs and descriptions and the category and the gross profit and volume and all that kind of information that comes out of your various mainframe systems. And then once you've uploaded all of that, I showed you those charts where we broke everything down into 10% increments. You know, that's pretty time-consuming to do that, but it can certainly be automated. So I envision you could say create the gross profit chart, create the volume chart, create the VCM chart with one click, and they would be created. And then, you know, again, if you buy into the notion, you could set it to say, show me every product that's in the bottom 5% on all three charts, or 3% or 10% or wherever you'd like to start, and bang, it would instantly identify those candidates and start populating that action plan template. And so, you know, you could populate a lot of that automatically. Then you go out and you talk to the folks in the field and the folks in operations, and you can manually add products that you want to review into these templates. The P&L impact calculator, I showed you what goes into that. Again, quite a bit of work to pull all that together and do it yourself. Software would pull really all the information out of existing systems, and with one click be able to show you the P&L impact of the various action plans. Likewise, finished goods and raw material run-out plan. It's a matter of, for given products, understanding the inventory level and the run rate so that you can start to predict the run-out date. That can all be done automatically. And finally, the communication templates. You know, we've written text that would go out to customers and to brokers and be used internally, and then you could pull in the finished goods and raw material run-out plan and create basically a report that says, here's the products that are going away, here's when we expect them to go away, and here's what you need to do about that. Quick recap. Product line optimization should be part of the annual plan process, not a knee-jerk reaction to short-term problems. It needs to be undertaken with a long-term focus, understanding that, you know, there's certainly some short-term pain to be felt, you know, not only in going through this, but possibly in walking away from some volume, but for the long-term good of the company. Definitely needs to be addressed start to finish by a cross-functional team. All the stakeholders in this need to work together on it. It needs to be respectful of data as well as marketplace realities, and communicated consistently and clearly to everybody, both internally and externally. Before we go, I just want to call your attention to 3 additional opportunities you might be interested in. I mentioned my Food Service Marketing Insights newsletter. It is free. It talks about really anything that has to do with food service, sales, marketing, and supply chain issues, and especially how they interrelate. If you subscribe, you'll also gain access to the library on my website, which has about, I guess, 150 or so articles, commentaries, tools, and that sort of thing, all categorized by topic. So it's pretty easy to search for topics of interest and download information that would be of help. So if you're not already subscribed, we'd love to have you on board. And if you try it and don't like it and unsubscribe, no hard feelings. Second, I did mention this food service supply chain share group. I'm tempted to tell you who's on it, but I think just out of respect at this point I won't. But we do have at this point 5 very top-notch leading food service companies. It is